Rosanna from Toto. Huge hit for the band. And the first thing you hear on the song is one of the all-time famous drum grooves played by Jeff Porcaro. And there's some great videos on YouTube of drummers explaining this part. Highly recommended to check that out to really understand the foundation of the song. But to me, the next part of the tune that's really its signature is the piano part. And if you think about it, in rock music, it's pretty difficult to come up with piano parts for an up-tempo song. There's tons of songs that use piano, of course, but a lot of those are ballads. You know, if you think about any of the Beatles tunes that had piano, or Elton John and Billy Joel, a lot of slow tunes, right? But, you know, an up-tempo tune, that's a challenge to get a piano part that really works. Just off the top of my head, I can think of Don't Stop Believin' from Journey, which is probably the all-time classic rock piano part, right? Let's see what else. There's Dreams from Van Halen, The Way It Is from Bruce Hornsby. I covered those tunes on my channel already. What else? Clocks from Coldplay. And this tune. Am I missing any? I don't know. So let's take a look at the piano part and see what's going on harmonically and rhythmically. We're starting out, we're kind of in the key of G, and we've got this little lick. Okay, so we're starting with a G chord, but we're in second inversion. We're starting on a D, then a G, and then we're going to have the sus2, the A note, and then goes to the G proper chord, so with the B note in there. And what we're going to do is we're going to have this cool sort of rocking back and forth between the third, the second, and then the sus4, the C note. See that? So and that's the pattern. Okay. After it does that a few times, we're going to move. We're going to move a whole step down to F. Now, that's not in the key of G, but we'll talk about that in a second. First, here's the pattern. We're starting on a low C, then an F, then a G. Again, that's sus2 to the third A. Now, there, the pattern's a little bit different. It doesn't have a sus4 in it. It just toggles between the 2 and the 3. Then down to an E, E minor. Now, again, in second inversion, B, E, F sharp, that's the sus2, G, there's the third, and then the sus4, A. Now, okay, we said key of G, right? And sure, I mean, home chord, and then the relative minor chord, right? But you would think we would have done something like go from G, maybe like D over F sharp, E minor, that's a very familiar sound, I'm sure, right? But we don't. They didn't want that sound, so why is the F in there? All right, so we call that like a borrowed chord. Even though we're in the key of G, G feels like it's the home note, right? But we're borrowing that F chord from a different key. Could be from the key of F, you would think, but it's not. It's actually from the key of C. All right, let me break that down and explain. When you have chord substitutions that are not in a particular key, right? I mean, you'll really do anything, but to make it the most effective, you need to know about common tones between keys, okay? So if I'm in the key of G, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, right? Okay, most of those notes are also in the key of C, except for the F note, right? C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. It's an F natural as opposed to F sharp. Well, if I start on a C and I include the F sharp in it, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C. Now I'm playing a C scale in the key of G, all right? And that's called a mode. And so in particular, that's called the Lydian mode. So what we're going to do for this key here, when we go from G to F, we're taking the F chord from the key of C. So if I start on an F note, F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F, that's an F major scale, right? But watch what I do. I'm going to play from F to F in the key of C. No sharps, no flats. F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. That's the Lydian mode starting on F, okay? It's from F to F in the key of C. Now, the reason why I'm making a point of this is that to go from G to F, it doesn't sound like it's completely out of key, right? It sounds like it fits. But that's just because when you go from a G to an F like that, you're staying within the common tones. The common tones of G, G, A, B, C, D, E, and then G, leaving out the F. If I started on an F note, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. You see? So I had most of the notes of the G scale in that F scale. Just replacing F sharp with an F. It becomes a mode, okay? Now the interesting thing about it though, is that once we've done that, then we're right back to the key of G, the relative minor, the E minor. Yeah? Okay, now what we're going to do, we are going to change keys proper this time. And we get there with a C chord, just a C major. And then we're going to move to the key of F. It's the same lick as we had in G, but we moved all the way from here up to here. So even though we modulated like down a whole step, we sailed all the way up nearly an octave to get to the new key. And that's the thing, is that that's why the song sort of lifts at that point, you know, with the key change, because it literally does. It goes higher. It goes way higher than it started. You know, you have this grounded, first of all, we're pretty low in register anyway. And then to go, it's like you just opened the sunroof or something, you know, that's the sound. Okay, so like I say, we're in the key of F, but watch what we do. We're going to do the exact same harmonic movement we did in G. We did G, F, E minor, right? So here we're going to have F, down a whole step, E flat, D minor. And the patterns are exactly the same as what we had with G. And it almost doesn't sound like they're the same because we're in a different key and we've shifted up in register. But that's what it does. Okay. And from there, we're going to go to the chorus, pre-chorus, chorus. And it's interesting because we are going to shift keys yet once again. And you can look at this two different ways. You could think of it as being in the key of G minor. You could think of it as being in the key of B flat. if we're in the key of G minor, so we actually do start with a G minor chord, just root position G, B flat, D. That's called the parallel minor to where we started the song, G major. When you have the same root note, but one is major and one is minor, then that's called parallel. It's not the same thing as relative major and minor, right? Okay, so we have a G minor, F over A, B flat, E flat over B flat, B flat, F. All right, so let's look at that. I really get the sense that this tune, at this point, has moved to the key of B flat. We went up a fourth from F major to B flat major now. I'll explain why. If we're in the key of B flat, we're starting on the relative minor, G minor, relative of B flat, right? F over A is really the 5 chord to get to B flat, the 1 chord. 4 chord, E flat, 1, 5. 1, 4, 5. Simplest chord progression in the world. But in this order, 4, 1, 5. And that move is, in my opinion, underused these days. That is such a strong pattern, because what it is that you're resolving 4, 1, 5. And that 5, it's not really resolved. It's hanging there. It wants to do something. It wants to go somewhere. And where it goes is not to 1. It doesn't go to the home key. It goes to the relative minor. It goes up a whole step to G minor. And that's a really strong kind of resolution to really just kind of pulls your ear in that direction, right? So I'll do the whole chorus. G minor, F over A, B flat, E flat, B flat, F. So maybe that's the pre-chorus. Here's the actual chorus. Meet you all the way. Okay, so we're still in the key of B flat. We're starting on the 5 chord, F, G minor 7. And the reason it's G minor 7 is this. All I did with the right hand is F chord, F, A, C, to a B flat chord, F, B flat, D. But against it, in the left hand, is a G note. So that's a G minor 7. The F makes it a 7, right? Okay. That's a cool sound. That's some jazz harmony right there. And what you have should really be C11. And what it is a B flat chord, F, B flat, D, with a C in the bass. B flat over C. And then an E flat chord with C in a bass makes it a C minor 7. Alright, once again, F, G minor 7, B flat over C, E flat over C. And he just echoes that up an octave, B flat to E flat. And then that movement again, E flat, B flat, F. And then, so we're on F, we're waiting to go somewhere. What do we do this time? We modulate back to G, up a whole step this time from F. Right? Now, you see that? Like, when you really analyze songs like this, and you see like the construction of the songwriting and how things are not just coincidence, it's like you really start to see the logic and the intelligence behind a chord progression, right? It seems like nothing, but I think there was a lot of thought put into this. We started the song with the G thing, F. Now here, F, G. It was the reverse, right? Okay. So that's a little bit about the harmonic concepts in Rosanna. Again, as I say, that drum part is really an essential element of the song. But rhythmically, if you think about it, right? If the tempo is this 1, 2, 3, 4, da 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 da. It's like, you see how it's like kind of rolling over itself, that rhythm of the piano line, and the way that combines with that shuffle groove on the drums. To me, that's the key to the tune. It's a great vocal melody and all that and everything. It's a cool bass line. It's a killer guitar solo. But really, that is the meat and potatoes of the song. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's breakdown. And if you did, please consider subscribing to my channel for more videos like this to come. And thanks for watching.